Welcome. Settle in. Find your quiet. Breathe with me. There is a particular kind of silence that descends upon the world, a hushed, almost reverent space, a sanctuary, if you will, when a woman, after long, often countless years of being the steadfast anchor, the silent solver, the unwavering, unshakable support for everyone and everything around her, finally allows herself a deep, truly unburdened exhale, a sigh that travels not just from the lungs, but from the very core of her being. Close your eyes if you wish, and just listen. Listen to that breath. Perhaps you can feel it resonating within your own chest, a familiar echo. Or perhaps you can imagine it in someone dear to you, someone whose quiet strength you have always admired, perhaps even leaned upon. In that deep, gentle release, in that profound sigh, one hears more than just the simple surface weariness of a long day's toil, or even the accumulated exhaustion of a long, dutiful life. Oh no, it is far, far deeper than that. It is the echo of something profoundly unexpressed, a whisper from the soul's most intimate, most quiet chambers, a truth that has waited patiently, often for decades, to be acknowledged. We speak so readily, so often, of strength, don't we? Of resilience, of an unbreakable spirit. And truly, the feminine spirit, in its exquisite essence, possesses a wellspring of power that defies easy description, a power that can indeed move mountains with quiet determination, nurture arid deserts into lush, vibrant gardens of life, and painstakingly weave entire tapestries of meaning and connection from seemingly threadbare, disparate moments. She is often the one who remembers every detail, every forgotten anniversary, every tiny preference, the one who anticipates every unspoken need, every potential tremor in the emotional landscape. She is the one who mends what is broken, not just physically with a gentle touch, but emotionally with a wise word, a comforting presence. She builds bridges of understanding where others see only impenetrable chasms. She holds vast, sacred space for joy, for profound sorrow, for unsettling uncertainty, for quiet contemplation. She is, in so many ways, the quiet, constant, rhythmic hum beneath the grand symphony of life itself, ensuring its harmony, its rhythm, its very continuation. Her strength is a foundational force, often invisible, yet utterly indispensable, like the roots of a mighty tree, holding the earth firm, unseen, yet vital for the tree's towering existence. But there is a subtle, often unseen current beneath this formidable, magnificent strength, a deep, energetic flow that carries a silent, accumulating tax, an invisible weight that accrues day by patient day, a hidden cost, subtly paid, when the giving becomes an endless, relentless tide, when the doing takes absolute precedence over simply being, when the external demands, the needs of others, the endless list of responsibilities, slowly but surely begin to drown out the soft, insistent internal whisper of her own soul. This particular weariness we are speaking of, it is not merely the tired ache in the shoulders from carrying too many physical burdens, too many mental loads. It is not just the heavy eyelids at the close of a day overflowing with tasks, with decisions, with silent sacrifices. No, this unique, profound exhaustion travels to a far more sacred, a more intimate, a more vulnerable place within her very being. It reaches into the deepest chambers of her heart, her spirit, her energetic core. It is an exhaustion of the very sensual current that flows, or should flow, through every fiber of her being. that vibrant, shimmering, life-giving stream of pure, unadulterated energy. It is the river of her inner delight, her intuitive wisdom, her boundless creativity, her innate capacity for pure, uninhibited pleasure. This is the current that connects her to the earth, to the stars, to the very pulse of life itself. It is the essence of her aliveness, her glow, her magnetic presence. When the constant doing, the endless list of tasks, the relentless need to solve every problem, to anticipate every possible outcome, to fix every crack in the foundation, to smooth every ruffled feather, when this outward-focused, relentless activity becomes the default mode of existence, it can, quite subtly, begin to construct a dam. A dam, yes, not made of rough stone and cold mortar, but of accumulated obligations, of unvoiced expectations, of quiet, unacknowledged sacrifices, of dismissed needs, of forgotten dreams. It is built from the ceaseless management of external realities, day in and day out, year after year. This invisible structure slowly, inevitably, blocks the natural, free-flowing channel to her internal wellspring of vitality, to her innate sense of delight, to the simple, profound, often overlooked joy of simply existing, of feeling, of experiencing the world in its richness, rather than merely managing it. And when this essential, vibrant, sacred energy is thus blocked, what then truly happens? We don't just lose a fleeting moment of physical passion or a temporary spark of excitement. No, we lose something far, far more profound. We lose vitality itself, the very deep, soulful aliveness of our being, the connection to our deepest, most potent self. That radiant inner glow, that spark in the eyes that once held the wonders of the universe, that lightness in the step that once danced with the wind, it begins imperceptibly at first to dim. The world, once vibrant and brimming with boundless possibility, can start to appear a little less colorful, a little less inviting. The rich, intricate music of life, a little more muted. The subtle textures of existence, a little less vivid to the touch. Desire itself, which is not merely the body calling out for physical touch, but truly the intricate, profound language through which the soul speaks of its deepest longings, for connection, for beauty, for expansion, for creation, for sacred union. That fundamental, sacred language finds its voice muffled. Its song, once clear and resonant, a powerful anthem of life, becomes a mere whisper, or sometimes, tragically, a melody altogether forgotten, a vital rhythm lost, perhaps even unheard for so long that its absence feels normal. She isn't tired of actions alone, not truly. A woman's capacity for action, for creation, for manifestation, for compassionate engagement, it is immense, a beautiful, powerful force meant to be shared, to be witnessed, to be celebrated. No, she is tired of the solitude of those actions, the quiet, unshared weight of carrying it all, day after patient day, year after devoted year, without a strong, loving hand to truly share the load, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, without a gaze that truly sees her effort, her sacrifice, her quiet brilliance, her profound giving, without the deep, sacred acknowledgement that she too needs to be sustained, without the quiet, sacred permission to simply rest, to just be.
To be held deeply and truly, rather than to always perpetually be the one who holds. To receive, to be nourished, to be replenished, rather than to always endlessly give. To simply be. To exist in her own exquisite, shimmering essence, unburdened by the constant, relentless, exhausting need to do. To be seen in her vulnerability, not just her strength, to be cherished for her softness, her tenderness, her delicate inner landscape, not just her formidable will. To finally lay down the armor, if only for a sustained sacred moment, and allow the world, or a loving presence within it, to embrace her, just as she has so tirelessly embraced it. This profound weariness, this deep, soulful exhaustion, it is not a weakness. Please understand this truth deeply in your bones. It is, in its essence, a sacred call, a gentle yet insistent whisper. We speak of passion, of desire, as if they are things that simply exist or vanish on their own accord. But what if they are not just emotions, but currents? Currents that flow through us, sustain us, and currents that can be diverted or even blocked. Have you ever paused to consider, where does the energy go? The silent, invisible energy that once sparked your days, your nights, your very sense of being alive. For many, especially for women who carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, the answer often lies in the quiet, ceaseless act of fixing, of giving, of holding everything together. Imagine, if you will, a beautiful, flowing river. This is your vital energy, your life force. It is meant to flow, to meander, to nourish the banks, and to receive from the sky. But what happens when that river is constantly being dammed, redirected, or even siphoned off drop by precious drop to quench the thirst of 1,000 other needs? When a woman finds herself in this endless cycle of repairing, of attending to every crack in the foundation, every frayed thread in the tapestry of life around her, she gives. She gives her time, her thought, her emotional labor, her physical strength. And in this constant outflow, a subtle yet profound shift begins to occur within her. Her capacity to receive, slowly, imperceptibly, begins to atrophy. It's like a muscle that isn't used. When we are always pushing, always mending, always providing the solution, the inherent ability to simply allow, to receive, to be filled, starts to fade. The channels narrow. The receptivity, which is the very essence of feminine energy, becomes a forgotten art. It is not that she chooses to stop receiving, it's that the mechanism itself, through disuse and constant demand, becomes less responsive. This creates an energetic imbalance, a profound tilt. The wellspring within, meant to be replenished by moments of stillness, of joy, of being cherished, is instead constantly emptied. And this imbalance manifests not merely as physical exhaustion, though that is often its most undeniable symptom. No, it delves much deeper. It touches the very core of her being. You see, when energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the vibrant hum of life itself, the subtle yet powerful current that connects us to our own bodies, to our intuition, to the world around us. The fading of desire, it is not simply a biological switch being turned off. It is often the quiet, mournful signal that the well is dry.
How can one yearn to connect, to merge, to feel the exquisite dance of intimacy when every fiber of her being is screaming for rest, for replenishment, for just a moment of not having to do? The disconnection from her body, it becomes a protective mechanism. When the body is a tool for constant service, for endless tasks, for always being available to others' needs, it ceases to be a temple of sensation. It becomes a vessel of duty. The subtle language of touch, of breath, of her own internal rhythms becomes muffled by the noise of responsibility. She begins to inhabit her body less as a lover and more as a weary inhabitant. The sensual energy, which thrives in softness, in yielding, in the gentle unfolding of self, finds itself walled off, redirected. It's either barricaded by exhaustion or channeled into the endless stream of practical problem solving. And beneath all of this, simmering quietly, often unspoken, is a deep, unacknowledged resentment. Resentment not necessarily towards any one person, but towards the relentless demand, the constant drain. It is a quiet anger that she cannot express, because expressing it might feel selfish or ungrateful, or simply too much to add to an already overflowing plate. This unexpressed emotion further clogs the channels, hardening the heart, dimming the light within. This is where the subtle saboteurs creep in. Guilt, shame, fear, or simply utter exhaustion. Guilt for wanting something for herself, for daring to feel a need when so many others seem to rely on her. How can I rest when there is so much to do? How can I desire pleasure when there is still work undone? Shame that she might not be enough, that her desire has dimmed, that her body no longer responds with the same fervor. A shame that whispers, "You are broken." Fear of what might happen if she stops fixing. What might fall apart? What judgments might she face? What chaos might she unleash if she simply let go? And then there is the sheer, bone-deep exhaustion. It is a state where the soul itself feels weary, where the simple act of breathing feels like effort. In this state, the inner voice, the one that whispers of desire, of connection, of self-care, becomes almost entirely drowned out. It is not that the voice dies. It is simply too quiet to be heard over the clamor of external demands and internal fatigue. Her sensual energy, it is not merely about physical touch, you see. It is the very current of her life force. It is her creativity, her intuition, her capacity for joy, for connection, for deep nourishment. When this energy is blocked, when it is constantly directed outwards without replenishment, it is not just passion that wanes. It is the very essence of her aliveness. It is her radiance. It is the subtle magnetic field that draws life and love towards her. To acknowledge this is not to cast blame. It is simply to see, with gentle eyes, the invisible cost of unwavering self-sufficiency. It is to understand that the well needs refilling, that the river needs to flow freely, to receive as well as to give, that the heart, when burdened, must be allowed to rest, to soften, to remember its own exquisite capacity for feeling. This understanding is the first step towards rekindling, towards inviting back the natural pulse of life within you. Love. Feel. Breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken.
We often find ourselves, don't we, caught in the relentless embrace of a peculiar current, a ceaseless, often unspoken, demand to constantly give, to perpetually mend, to tirelessly carry the myriad burdens that seem to accumulate almost imperceptibly upon our shoulders. This quiet, persistent hum of responsibility, this profound, almost ingrained need to fix everything around us, to smooth every ruffled feather, to bridge every subtle chasm, to anticipate every nascent need before it even has a chance to fully surface. It can become an exhaustive, even overwhelming symphony, can't it? An endless outward flow, a continuous pouring of the very essence of oneself into the vast, sometimes insatiable spaces of the world, of family, of cherished relationships, of professional duties. And in this unwavering act of ceaseless giving, this dedication that seems to radiate outward in all directions, a profound, almost bone-deep weariness can begin to settle. A subtle, yet deeply felt disconnect from the very wellspring, the very vital source that was meant to fuel our giving in the first place.
Consider the quiet revolution that unfolds when you allow yourself to ask for help, not out of defeat, but out of a profound understanding of interdependence. We are not meant to be solitary islands, forever battling the tides alone. We are woven into a tapestry, each thread supporting the next. To ask for help is not to admit failure, it is to invite connection. It is to trust that there are others willing, even eager to share the load, to offer their hand, their wisdom, their presence. And in that asking, in that gentle invitation, a space is created, a space for your own needs to surface, to be acknowledged, to be honored. How often have those needs been pushed aside, deemed secondary to the needs of others, to the demands of the day, to the endless list of things to be fixed? This is a quiet rebellion, creating space for you, for your rest, for your joy, for your deepest longings. This return to yourself begins with the body, not as an instrument to be honed or a problem to be solved, but as a sacred vessel, a living, breathing temple of sensation and energy. For so long, perhaps, it has been a tool for work, for care, for performance. Now, let us invite it to simply feel. Begin with your breath, the most intimate rhythm of life within you. Take a moment now to simply notice it, not to change it, not to control it, but to observe its gentle rise and fall. Feel the air enter, cool and fresh, filling your lungs, expanding your chest, softening your belly. And then feel it release, slowly, completely, carrying away with it any tension, any residue of the day's burdens. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. This isn't merely a physical act, it is a profound opening, a conscious act of receiving. Each inhale draws in not just air, but vital energy, presence, the very essence of life force. Each exhale releases not just carbon dioxide, but the grip of control, the weight of expectation, the need to constantly do. Imagine your breath as a gentle river flowing through your entire being. It touches every cell, every nerve, every quiet corner of your body. When you breathe deeply, you invite this river to nourish, to cleanse, to awaken. You are not pushing, not forcing. You are simply allowing. You are permitting life to flow through you, to replenish the well that has been so generous. And as you breathe, allow a gentle touch, perhaps the brush of your own hand against your skin, a tender caress on your arm, your cheek, your belly. Not with purpose, not with expectation, but with simple, soft awareness. What does it feel like? The warmth of your palm, the texture of your skin, the subtle hum of life beneath the surface. This is not about sexual desire in its overt form, no. It is about sensual awareness, the deep, quiet pleasure of simply feeling your own living, breathing body. This gentle touch, this conscious breath, is a way to tell your body, your soul, that it is safe to open, safe to receive, safe to feel pleasure not as an outcome, but as an inherent state of being. The body, when honored in this way, begins to remember its true nature, a conduit for joy, for vitality, for inspiration. It remembers that it is not merely a vessel for work, but a vessel for wonder. This shift from constant giving to conscious receiving is a journey of small, tender steps.
It is a slow unfurling, like a flower turning towards the sun, not forcing itself open, but simply allowing the warmth and light to coax its petals. Allow yourself to feel the subtle stirrings within, the quiet desires that have been silenced by the din of duty. Desire is not merely physical longing. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks.
It is a compass pointing towards what brings you aliveness, what sparks your unique flame. When you allow yourself to receive, you begin to hear these whispers again, clear and true. You are not losing power when you choose to receive. You are reclaiming a deeper, more profound power, the power of allowing, the power of trust, the power of connection. You are creating the fertile ground for your own rejuvenation, for your own blossoming. When energy is blocked by relentless giving without replenishment, we don't just lose a spark, we lose vitality. But when we open to receive, that vitality, that life current, begins to flow again, freely, generously. This is a path back to intimacy, not just with others, but with yourself, to heal the distance between body and soul, to understand that the very act of opening to receive is an act of love, a profound act of self-care that ripples outwards, enriching all your relationships, all your endeavors. For a well that is full can give abundantly without depletion. So let the quiet sadness, the nostalgia, the longing you might feel, let it be a guide, a gentle hand leading you back to this truth, the truth that you are worthy of receiving, that your needs are sacred, and that your capacity for strength is amplified, not diminished, by opening to the flow of life's generous currents. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. We have spoken of the currents that flow between us, of the subtle architecture of desire and connection. And perhaps as you listen, a quiet recognition stirs within you. For so long, you may have carried the weight of the world, the silent promise to mend, to sustain, to fix everything for everyone. This quiet heroism, while born of love, can often eclipse the very light it seeks to protect. It can leave you feeling depleted, disconnected from the wellspring of your own being. But I ask you to pause now, to breathe with me, and consider this: that profound vitality, that deep current of sensual energy within you, has never truly diminished. It has not been broken. It cannot be lost. It is a fundamental part of your essence, as ancient and enduring as the earth beneath your feet. It is not something you acquire. It is who you fundamentally are. It has simply been waiting, waiting for recognition, waiting for awakening. Think of it as a river, temporarily diverted, its powerful flow channeled into 1,000 smaller streams, tending to every need but its own grand journey. The river itself remains, full and potent, beneath the surface. And so it is with you. Your sensuality, your inherent capacity for joy, for passion, for creative life force, it is not a faucet to be turned on or off. It is the very pulse of your existence. The act of letting go of that immense burden, the burden of needing to fix everything, is not a surrender of strength. No, it is in truth the most profound act of self-love you can offer yourself.
It is a sacred release, an untangling from the unspoken contracts that have bound your spirit. When you release the need to control, to mend, to orchestrate every detail, you create space. And in that sacred space, your true self, your authentic current, begins to remember its way home. Often, we learn to fear our own power, especially women, the immense, creative, transformative power that resides within. It's a power that can feel overwhelming, disruptive, perhaps even dangerous in a world that often prefers stillness, predictability. But when a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. When she allows her energy to flow freely, she doesn't just transform herself, she transforms the space around her. This is not a force to be feared, but a symphony to be felt, to be allowed. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the vibrant spark that ignites creativity, deep connection, intuitive knowing. We lose the very current that makes life feel rich and meaningful. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the subtle hum of aliveness that should be your constant companion. Your energy, your sacred sensual self, will return. It will emerge from its quiet slumber not through effort or struggle, but through allowing. It returns when you permit yourself to be seen, truly seen, not just for what you do, but for who you are. It returns when you allow yourself to be supported, to lean into the strength of others, to receive love and care without guilt or the immediate urge to reciprocate with equal measure. It returns when you allow yourself to be loved simply because you exist, beautiful and whole. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is the fundamental call of life seeking life, of wholeness seeking connection. And this connection is not solely physical. It is a profound resonance between souls, a recognition of shared energy, shared light. The journey back to your true nature is not about finding something new. It is about remembering something ancient, something that has always resided within your deepest core. It is about lifting the veils, dismantling the walls, and allowing the intrinsic wisdom of your body, of your spirit, to guide you. It is a gentle unfolding, a quiet blossoming. This awakening is a return to ease, to grace, to the inherent wisdom of your feminine essence. It's about shedding the armor of perpetual strength and remembering the profound power of receptivity. To be soft does not mean to be weak. It means to be permeable, to be open to life's gentle currents, to allow yourself to be nourished, to be cherished. Let this reflection be a balm, a quiet whisper that settles deep within your heart. Know that your essence is untouched, your flame undimmed. Your sensuality is not a performance, it is your natural state of being, a wellspring of life awaiting your gentle presence, your acceptance, your love. Love. Feel. Breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken.